Welcome, dear listener, to this quiet corner of the digital world where we'll embark together on a gentle journey through time. Find yourself a comfortable position, perhaps in your favorite chair or nestled beneath soft blankets in bed. Take a moment to adjust your body, letting your shoulders drop naturally and allow your breathing to settle into its own peaceful rhythm. Tonight, we're going to explore a fascinating transformation that unfolded in the gaming world between the early 2020s and 2035. A story not of conflict or competition, but of gradual recognition, respect, and remarkable partnership. This is the tale of how passionate creators, once working in digital shadows, became the celebrated co-architects of tomorrow's virtual worlds. Before we begin our exploration, let's take 3 slow, deep breaths together. Breathe in slowly, feel your chest gently expand, and breathe out, releasing any tension from the day. Again, breathe in, holding for just a moment, and out, letting go of any worries or stress. One more time, in, feeling calm and present, and out, settling into this peaceful moment together. If you enjoy this type of content, a like or a subscription is always appreciated. It helps our small corner of the internet grow. I invite you to share your own thoughts in the comments below. Now sit back, get cozy, and enjoy the sleep story. Imagine, if you will, that you're sitting in a comfortable reading chair in what was once called the Digital Heritage Library, a serene space that exists in 2035, where the evolution of technology is preserved not in dusty tomes, but in gently glowing holographic displays that respond to the softest touch. The walls around us seem to breathe with a subtle, warm light, and through tall windows, you can see the quiet glow of a city where technology and humanity have found their gentle balance. The air here carries the faint scent of something reminiscent of old books, mixed with the clean, ozone-like smell of well-maintained electronics. Not harsh or metallic, but comforting, like the memory of your first computer starting up on a quiet morning. Soft ambient sounds drift through the space. The barely audible hum of cooling systems, the occasional gentle chime of notifications set to their most peaceful settings, and perhaps the distant sound of fingers dancing across haptic keyboards, creating digital art in nearby workspaces. As we settle into our exploration, imagine that before you materializes a gentle timeline, not harsh or bright, but composed of soft, floating elements that seem to hover in the warm air. Each point of light represents a moment in gaming history, pulsing slowly like a calm heartbeat, waiting to share its story. These aren't jarring transitions or sudden revelations, but gentle unfoldings of human creativity and collaboration. Our journey tonight will carry us through the transformation of a community, the modding community, that began as passionate individuals working alone in their bedrooms, small apartments, and shared spaces, creating modifications for games they loved. We'll witness the slow, beautiful recognition of their talents by major game companies and the eventual emergence of what came to be known as the co-developer era. This isn't a story of corporate takeover or the loss of creative independence. Instead, it's a tale of mutual recognition, companies slowly understanding the immense value these creators brought, and modders finding pathways to turn their passion into sustainable, respected careers. It's about the gradual building of bridges between two worlds that had existed side by side for decades, finally finding ways to work in harmonious partnership. Feel the weight of your body settling more deeply into your chair As we prepare to begin, notice how your breathing has naturally slowed and deepened. Your eyelids might feel pleasantly heavy. This is perfectly natural and welcome. We are creating a space where learning and relaxation intertwine, where the gentle flow of information becomes part of your journey toward peaceful rest. The story we're about to unfold spans 15 years, from 2020 to 2035, but we'll move through it like a slow, meandering river rather than a rushing torrent. Each phase of this transformation built upon the previous one with the patience of natural growth, like watching a garden slowly bloom across multiple seasons, each stage bringing its own quiet beauty and purpose. As you listen, imagine yourself as both observer and participant in this gentle revolution. You might see yourself as one of the early modders, working by the light of a desk lamp late into peaceful nights, crafting new experiences for fellow players. Or perhaps you're one of the game company executives who first recognized the potential for collaboration. Maybe you're simply a player who witnessed this beautiful transformation unfold, watching as the games you loved became richer and more diverse through this new partnership. The beauty of this story lies not in its dramatic moments, for there were few, but in its gradual unfolding, like watching the slow change of seasons or the patient growth of a tree. It's a story that speaks to the fundamental human desire to create, to share, and to be recognized for our contributions to something larger than ourselves. Let your mind drift gently as we prepare to step back in time to the year 2020, when modding was still largely seen as a hobby, when most modders worked without compensation, driven purely by passion and the joy of creation. We'll visit quiet home offices lit by monitor glows, witness late-night conversations in small online communities, and feel the gentle excitement that came with each new release, each small breakthrough, each moment of recognition from fellow creators. As we begin this journey together, notice how comfortable you've become. Your body has found its natural resting position, your breathing flows easily and peacefully, and your mind is ready to absorb this gentle flow of information. We're not here to memorize facts or solve problems. We're here to experience the slow, satisfying unfoldment of a positive transformation in human creativity and collaboration. The timeline before us begins to glow more softly, and the first chapter of our story materializes like morning mist slowly forming into recognizable shapes. We can see the outlines of computer screens, the soft glow of modding tools opening for the first time, and the quiet determination of creators about to embark on a journey that would change not just their own lives, but the entire landscape of digital entertainment. Take one more deep, peaceful breath as we step together into this gentle exploration of how passion became profession, how hobby became career, and how individual creators became valued partners in one of the most significant transformations in gaming history. As we drift back to the year 2020, imagine yourself settling deeper into that comfortable chair in our digital heritage library. The soft glow of the timeline before us shifts into warmer hues, the golden amber of nostalgia mixed with the gentle blue light of countless computer screens from an era when modding was still primarily a labor of love. Picture, if you will, a quiet suburban bedroom in the early hours of a Saturday morning. The world outside is still wrapped in the soft silence of dawn, but inside, a young creator sits before a modest computer setup. The screen casts a gentle glow across their face as they navigate through folders of game files, each one holding the potential for transformation. This scene, replicated in thousands of homes across the globe, represents the humble beginnings of what would become one of the most significant shifts in gaming history. Feel yourself sinking deeper into relaxation as we explore these peaceful origins. The modding community of 2020 was like a vast, underground garden, hidden from the casual observer, but teeming with incredible creativity and growth. Modders worked in quiet dedication, often through the night, crafting new characters, creating expanded storylines, building entirely new worlds within existing game frameworks. The tools they used were often simple: text editors for scripting, free image manipulation software, and game development kits that companies had released almost as afterthoughts. Yet with these basic instruments, creators were composing symphonies of interactive experience. Imagine the soft clicking of keyboards, the gentle whir of cooling fans, and the occasional satisfied sigh of a modder seeing their vision come to life on screen. In this early period, the relationship between modders and game companies existed in a comfortable gray area. Companies generally acknowledged modding communities, but maintained a respectful distance. It was understood that modders enhanced the longevity of games, keeping communities active long after official support ended. Players would return to beloved games again and again, drawn by the promise of fresh content created by their fellow enthusiasts. Let your breathing slow as we visit some of these early modding sanctuaries. Picture the online forums where modders gathered, not the harsh, argumentative spaces that dominated some corners of the internet, but gentle communities built around shared passion. Messages were exchanged with the courtesy of craftspeople admiring each other's work. Tutorial videos were created not for profit, but out of genuine desire to help others learn and grow. The Elder Scrolls modding community exemplified this spirit perfectly. Imagine wandering through the digital equivalent of a peaceful crafts fair, where creators displayed their wares not for sale, but for the joy of sharing. One modder might spend months perfecting a single character model, crafting every detail with the patience of a master sculptor. Another might dedicate their evenings to writing elaborate quest lines that could provide dozens of hours of new gameplay. As you settle further into comfort, imagine the quiet satisfaction these creators felt. There were no monetary rewards, no official recognition from the companies whose games they enhanced. Their payment was measured in download counts, positive comments from fellow players, and the deep personal satisfaction that comes from bringing one's creative vision to life. The tools began to evolve slowly during this period. Game companies, noticing the sustained engagement that modding brought to their products, started releasing more sophisticated modding tools. These weren't born from business strategies or corporate mandates, but from developers who had themselves been modders, who understood the creative hunger that drove the community. Feel the gentle progression of time as 2020 slowly gave way to 2021. The modding landscape was beginning to shift, almost imperceptibly at first, like the barely noticeable lengthening of days as winter gradually yields to spring. Some companies started featuring promising mods on their official social media channels, simple acknowledgements that carried enormous weight within the community. Bethesda Game Studios, already known for their modding-friendly approach, began what they called creator spotlights, gentle features that highlighted exceptional community work. These weren't corporate marketing exercises, but genuine celebrations of creativity. Imagine the quiet joy of a modder seeing their late-night passion project shared, with hundreds of thousands of followers, accompanied by warm words of appreciation from the developers who had created the original game. The Minecraft community, already well established by this time, continued to flourish in its own unique ecosystem. The game's block-based nature made it particularly friendly to modification, and creators built everything from faithful recreations of historical buildings to entirely new gameplay mechanics. The community there felt particularly nurturing, experienced creators mentoring newcomers, sharing resources freely, building collaborative projects that spanned continents. As we move gently through 2021, notice how your body has found its perfect resting position. The story continues to unfold like a slow, peaceful documentary, each detail adding to our understanding without urgency or pressure. During this year, something important began to happen, the first tentative steps toward what would eventually become full collaboration. Valve Corporation, known for their community-friendly approach, launched what they called the Creator Labs, small programs that provided additional resources and early access to modders working on particularly innovative projects. This wasn't a commercial venture, but an experiment in support. Selected creators received better development tools, direct communication channels with developers, and occasionally small stipends to help them dedicate more time to their projects. The selection process for these programs was handled with the delicacy of curating an art exhibition. Companies weren't looking for creators who could replicate their existing content, but those who brought genuinely new perspectives and innovative approaches. The criteria were subjective and human: creativity over technical perfection, innovation over polish, passion over professionalism. Imagine the email notifications arriving in modders' inboxes, not spam or advertisements, but personal messages from community managers at major studios. "We've been following your work on the Steam Workshop," they might read, "and we'd love to discuss some opportunities to support your creative process." These messages were crafted individually, acknowledging specific projects and demonstrating genuine familiarity with the creator's portfolio. The interviews for these early programs were conducted like coffee shop conversations rather than corporate recruitment processes. Developers wanted to understand not just what modders could do, but how they thought, what inspired them, what they hoped to achieve. The atmosphere was collaborative rather than evaluative, two groups of creators exploring how they might work together. By late 2021, a small but growing number of modders found themselves in unprecedented positions. They maintained their independence and creative freedom while receiving official support for their projects. It was still experimental, still tentative, but the foundation was being laid for something much larger. As 2022 dawned, feel yourself drifting deeper into this gentle exploration. The changes were becoming more visible now, like the first green shoots appearing in early spring. More companies were launching creator support programs, each approaching the challenge slightly differently, but all sharing a common recognition. The modding community represented an incredible reservoir of talent and creativity that could benefit everyone involved. The key insight that drove this early period was beautifully simple. Modders weren't competition for professional developers, but complementary creators who approached game development from entirely different angles. Where professional studios might focus on broad appeal and technical polish, modders often explored niche concepts, experimental mechanics, and highly personalized visions. This realization created space for a new kind of relationship. one where companies could learn from community innovation while providing the resources and support that could help passionate creators reach their full potential. The stage was being set for the more dramatic transformations that would follow, but for now, in this peaceful early period, it was enough to simply nurture the growing connections between two creative communities that had long admired each other from a distance. Feel the warmth of this mutual recognition flowing through our story as we prepare to explore the next phase of this gentle evolution. The foundation had been laid with patience and respect, setting the stage for the remarkable developments that would characterize the years ahead. Let your attention drift gently forward in time as we move into 2023, when the gaming industry began to truly awaken to the immense potential lying dormant within the modding community. Settle deeper into your comfortable position as we explore this period of growing recognition, like watching the slow dawn light gradually illuminate a landscape that had always been beautiful, but was only now being truly seen. The year 2023 marked the beginning of what historians would later call the Great Recognition, not a sudden corporate strategy shift, but a gradual, almost organic realization spreading through the industry like morning light across a peaceful valley. Picture boardrooms where the conversations were shifting from quarterly earnings reports to discussions about community engagement and long-term creative partnerships. Imagine yourself present at one of these early recognition meetings, perhaps in a glass-walled conference room overlooking the Seattle skyline, where employees of a major gaming studio gather for their monthly community review. The atmosphere isn't corporate or hurried, but thoughtful and exploratory. Coffee cups rest on the table alongside tablets displaying community-created content. The mood is one of discovery rather than exploitation. On the wall-mounted screen, a presentation flows gently from slide to slide, each one showcasing a different aspect of community creativity. Here's a mod that transforms a medieval fantasy game into a space opera, complete with custom music and voice acting. There's a total conversion that reimagines a horror game as a peaceful farming simulator. Another slide shows a community-created character that has generated more fan art and discussion than the game's official protagonists. Feel your breathing naturally slowing as we observe these industry professionals wrestling with a beautiful problem. How do you officially support and collaborate with a community that has thrived precisely because of its independence? The conversations are gentle and exploratory, filled with respect for the creative freedom that has made modding so innovative. During this recognition phase, companies began to implement what they called community partnership programs, initiatives designed not to control or direct modding efforts, but to provide better tools, resources, and platforms for existing creators to flourish. These weren't acquisition attempts or employment offers, but something more nuanced and respectful of the community's unique culture. Epic Games, building on their already community-friendly approach with Unreal Engine, launched what they termed creator constellations, networks of supported modders working on related projects. Rather than isolating talented individuals, they created gentle ecosystems where creators could collaborate, share resources, and learn from each other while maintaining their independence. Picture one of these creator constellation gatherings, perhaps in a converted warehouse space filled with comfortable seating areas, collaborative workspaces, and demonstration areas. The lighting is warm and inviting, designed to feel more like a maker space than a corporate facility. Creators arrive carrying laptops and sketches, ideas, and half-finished projects. The atmosphere buzzes with quiet excitement and mutual respect. These weren't conferences in the traditional sense, with rigid schedules and formal presentations. Instead, they resembled creative retreats where passionate artists came together to share techniques, tackle challenges collaboratively, and inspire each other's next projects. Company representatives were present not as supervisors or directors, but as facilitators and resource providers, offering technical support and answering questions about game engines and development tools. As 2023 progressed into 2024, feel the gentle acceleration of these recognition efforts. More companies were beginning to understand that supporting modders required a completely different approach than hiring employees. Modders weren't looking for jobs in the traditional sense. They were seeking recognition, resources, and the opportunity to pursue their creative visions with greater scope and impact. CD Projekt Red, known for their community-focused approach, pioneered what they called narrative collaboratives, programs where experienced modders worked alongside company writers to develop official downloadable content. The process was collaborative rather than hierarchical, with modders bringing their unique perspectives and community insights to professional development processes. Imagine sitting in on one of these collaborative writing sessions. The conference room has been transformed into something more like a cozy living room, with comfortable chairs arranged in a circle, notepads and tablets casually distributed, and a warm atmosphere that encourages creative flow. Professional writers and community modders share space as equals, each bringing different strengths and perspectives to the creative process. The conversations flow organically between game lore discussions, character development sessions, and technical implementation planning. There's no sense of hierarchy or competition, just passionate creators working together toward shared goals. When disagreements arise, they're resolved through discussion and creative synthesis rather than corporate mandate. During this period, the modding tools themselves underwent significant evolution. Companies began releasing development kits that rivaled their own internal tools in sophistication and power. These weren't simplified, consumer versions, but professional-grade software adapted for community use, complete with comprehensive documentation and tutorial support. Feel yourself settling deeper into relaxation as we explore the gentle transformation of the modding experience itself. Where once creators had to reverse engineer game systems and work within strict limitations, they now had access to the same tools that professional developers used to create the original games. This democratization of development technology opened new worlds of creative possibility. The Steam Workshop evolved into something more comprehensive, not just a distribution platform, but a collaborative development environment where creators could work together in real time, sharing assets, providing feedback, and building on each other's innovations. The interface became more intuitive and powerful, designed specifically to support the unique workflows of community creators. By mid-2024, a new dynamic was emerging. Companies began to recognize that their most innovative content was often coming not from internal studios, but from the intersection between professional development resources and community creativity. This realization led to the establishment of innovation bridges, formal partnerships where promising community projects could access professional development support while maintaining their creators' vision and independence. These innovation bridges weren't about corporate control, but about resource sharing and mutual benefit. A modder working on an ambitious project could request access to professional voice acting resources, motion capture facilities, or advanced development tools. In return, the company gained insights into emerging community trends and innovative approaches to game development. Imagine visiting one of these innovation bridge facilities, a space designed to feel like a merger between a professional game studio and a community maker space. The architecture is open and collaborative, with development stations that can be configured for individual work or group collaboration. The atmosphere is relaxed and creative, with developers and community creators working side by side on their respective projects. The year 2025 brought what many consider the culmination of the recognition phase, the establishment of the Creator Council system. Major gaming companies formed advisory councils composed entirely of community creators, giving modders direct input into company policies, development priorities, and community support initiatives. These creator councils operated on principles of consensus and collaboration rather than corporate hierarchy. Council members maintained their independence while providing companies with valuable community insights and feedback. The meetings were conducted more like creative workshops than business meetings, focusing on long-term community health and creative empowerment. Feel the peaceful resolution of this recognition phase as companies and communities found their comfortable rhythm of collaboration. The relationship had evolved from mutual acknowledgement to genuine partnership, but always with respect for the independence and creative freedom that made the modding community so valuable in the first place. By the end of 2025, the foundation was complete for the next phase of evolution. Companies had learned to support without controlling. Communities had learned to collaborate without compromising their values, and both sides had discovered that their partnership could create possibilities that neither could achieve alone. As we prepare to explore the next chapter of this gentle revolution, notice how comfortable and relaxed you've become, letting the story flow through your consciousness like a peaceful stream, carrying you toward even more interesting developments in the years ahead. Drift with me now into the warm embrace of 2026, where our story takes on the gentle rhythm of established partnership. Feel yourself sinking deeper into comfort as we explore the integration years, a period when the tentative connections between companies and creators blossomed into sophisticated, mutually beneficial relationships that respected both professional standards and creative independence. The morning light of this new era illuminates a transformed landscape. Picture yourself walking through the headquarters of a major gaming studio, but notice how different it feels from the corporate spaces of previous decades. The walls are lined not just with awards and promotional materials, but with prints of community-created art, screenshots from beloved mods, and thank you letters from players whose lives were touched by collaborative projects. In one wing of the building, you'll find something unprecedented: the Community Integration Labs. These aren't corporate departments or hired teams, but collaborative spaces where company developers and community creators work side by side on projects that neither could accomplish alone. The atmosphere is one of creative synthesis rather than corporate hierarchy. Imagine settling into a comfortable observation area within one of these labs. The space feels more like an artist's studio than a business facility. Natural light streams through large windows, plants are scattered throughout the workspace, and the furniture is arranged to encourage both focused individual work and spontaneous collaboration. The sound level is gentle, the soft clicking of keyboards, quiet conversations between collaborators, and the occasional satisfied exclamation when someone solves a creative challenge. What makes these integration labs remarkable isn't their technology, though the tools are impressive, but their culture. Community creators retain ownership of their ideas and creative vision while gaining access to resources that were previously unimaginable. Professional developers, in turn, are constantly inspired by the fresh perspectives and innovative approaches that community creators bring to familiar challenges. Watch as a small team works on what will become one of 2026's most celebrated releases, a community-designed expansion to a popular fantasy RPG. The project began as a modest mod created by a single developer working nights and weekends, but through the integration labs, it has evolved into a full-scale expansion featuring professional voice acting, orchestrated music, and production values that rival any official release. The creator, let's call her Maya, sits at a workstation surrounded by both her personal modding tools and professional development software. She maintains creative control over every aspect of the project, but now she has access to specialists who can help realize her vision at a scale she could never achieve alone. The company provides resources and expertise. Maya provides innovation and creative direction. Feel the harmony of this collaboration as we observe their daily workflow. Morning meetings aren't corporate status updates, but creative discussions where everyone's input is valued equally. Maya presents her vision for a new character interaction system, while a professional animator shares ideas for bringing those interactions to life. A company sound designer offers suggestions for the emotional tone of dialogue sequences, while Maya explains the narrative context that makes those emotions meaningful. As 2026 progressed into 2027, these collaborative relationships deepened and became more sophisticated. Companies began to recognize that community creators brought more than just individual talent. They brought deep understanding of what players actually wanted, insights that could only come from being embedded within gaming communities themselves. The concept of embedded creators emerged during this period, community developers who maintained their independence while working closely with company teams on major projects. Unlike traditional employment, these relationships were project-based and collaborative, allowing creators to work on multiple partnerships while preserving the community connections that made their perspectives so valuable. Picture yourself visiting Maya again, now 18 months into her partnership with the company. Her workspace has evolved to reflect her dual role, community tools alongside professional resources, personal projects developing in parallel with collaborative endeavors. She's become a bridge between two worlds, translating community insights into actionable development strategies, while ensuring that commercial pressures don't compromise the creative freedom that makes community development so innovative. The success stories from this period weren't measured solely in sales figures or download counts, but in the revolutionary changes they brought to game development culture. Projects that emerged from these collaborations had a quality that was difficult to define but impossible to ignore. They felt both professionally polished and authentically creative, combining the best aspects of corporate resources with community innovation. Let your mind drift as we explore one of the most significant innovations of this period, the living game concept. Traditional game development followed a linear path from conception to release, with post-launch support focused on bug fixes and occasionally downloadable content. But the integration years gave birth to games designed from the ground up for ongoing collaboration between developers and communities. These living games featured built-in creation tools that were seamlessly integrated with developer workflows. Community creators could build content that met professional standards and be automatically integrated into the main game experience after passing collaborative review processes. The boundary between official and community content became beautifully blurred. Imagine playing one of these living games, perhaps an exploration-based adventure where new areas, characters, and storylines appear regularly, some created by the original development team, others by community partners. The experience is seamless. Players can't tell which content comes from which source because quality standards and creative vision are consistent across all contributions. The review processes for community content weren't bureaucratic gatekeeping systems, but collaborative refinement workshops. When a community creator submitted new content, it entered a gentle review process where professional developers and other community creators provided feedback, suggestions, and technical support. The goal wasn't to reject or control, but to help every piece of content reach its full potential. By 2028, feel the maturation of these systems as they reached a stable, sustainable rhythm. The integration years had successfully solved one of the fundamental challenges of creative collaboration: how to combine resources and maintain standards without stifling innovation or compromising creative independence. The economic models that emerged during this period were as innovative as the creative processes. Rather than traditional employment or simple revenue sharing, companies and community creators developed creative partnerships, ongoing relationships where creators retained ownership of their intellectual property while receiving support, resources, and revenue sharing from successful collaborations. These partnerships weren't contracts in the traditional sense, but living agreements that evolved with each project. Creators could work on multiple partnerships simultaneously, collaborate with their peers freely, and maintain their community connections without restriction. Companies, in turn, gained access to an incredible diversity of creative perspectives and innovative approaches that kept their games fresh and engaging for years after initial release. Imagine the quiet satisfaction of this matured ecosystem, creators working on passion projects with professional resources, companies releasing consistently innovative content, and players experiencing games that continued to evolve and surprise long after their initial release. The integration years had created something unprecedented, a development culture that honored both commercial viability and creative authenticity. The success of this period wasn't marked by dramatic announcements or corporate acquisitions, but by the gradual normalization of collaboration. By 2028, it seemed perfectly natural for game credits to list both company employees and community partners, for development blogs to feature both professional developers and community creators, for game conferences to showcase collaborative projects alongside traditional studio releases. Feel the peaceful conclusion of this transformative period as both companies and communities settled into their new collaborative rhythm. The bridges had been built not just between institutions, but between different approaches to creativity, different definitions of success, different ways of understanding the relationship between art and commerce. As we prepare to explore the next phase of this gentle evolution, notice how this story of collaboration and mutual respect has created its own peaceful rhythm in your mind, carrying you effortlessly toward the even more remarkable developments that awaited in the years ahead. Breathe deeply as we drift into 2029, entering what historians would later recognize as the professionalization era. Not professionalization in the corporate sense of rigid structures and hierarchies, but a beautiful evolution where community creators gained full recognition as professional partners while maintaining the creative freedom and community connections that made their work so valuable. Settle more deeply into your comfortable space as we explore this remarkable period when the informal collaborations of the integration years matured into something unprecedented, a new professional category that honored both creative independence and commercial viability. Picture yourself visiting the Gaming Creators Guild, established in early 2029 as the first professional organization designed specifically for community creators who had become industry partners. The Guild headquarters occupies a renovated warehouse in downtown Seattle, but it feels nothing like a traditional trade union office. Imagine walking through spaces that blend the comfort of a coffee shop with the functionality of a professional workspace. Natural light floods through skylights, plants cascade from hanging gardens, and comfortable seating areas are scattered throughout, encouraging both focused work and spontaneous collaboration. This isn't a place where creators come to negotiate against companies, but where they gather to share resources, collaborate on projects, and support each other's professional development. The Guild's founding principle was beautifully simple. Community creators had evolved into a new kind of professional that deserved recognition, support, and advocacy, while maintaining the independence that made their work so innovative. Feel the gentle warmth of this professional recognition as we observe a typical day at the Guild. In one corner, Maya, whom we met during the integration years, leads a workshop on collaborative project management, sharing insights she's gained from 3 years of successful partnerships. Her audience includes both newcomers to collaborative development and experienced creators exploring new partnership models. The workshop atmosphere is supportive and interactive. Maya doesn't lecture from a podium, but facilitates discussions among peers, encouraging everyone to share their experiences and insights. The goal isn't to standardize approaches, but to help each creator develop strategies that work for their unique situation and creative goals. Nearby, another group participates in what the Guild calls a partnership review session, not a complaint forum, but a collaborative space where creators can discuss challenges, share solutions, and help each other navigate the evolving landscape of professional partnerships. These sessions are characterized by mutual support rather than competition, reflecting the community values that creators brought with them into their professional evolution. The year 2029 also saw the establishment of creator collectives, professional organizations where multiple independent creators pooled resources and expertise to take on larger projects while maintaining their individual creative identities. These weren't companies in the traditional sense, but cooperative ventures that allowed creators to compete for major projects while preserving the collaborative, community-oriented culture that had always characterized modding. Imagine visiting the Aurora Collective, one of the first and most successful of these organizations. Their workspace occupies the top floor of a converted library, with each creator maintaining their own personal workspace while sharing common areas for collaboration and meetings. The atmosphere blends individual creativity with collective capability. Creators can work alone when deep focus is needed, but collaboration happens naturally and frequently. The Aurora Collective specializes in narrative expansions for major RPGs, bringing together writers, artists, programmers, and designers who had originally met through various modding communities. Their projects maintain the innovative, player-focused approach that characterized their community origins while meeting the professional standards and deadlines that commercial partnerships require. Watch as they work on their current project, a major expansion for a popular space exploration game. The creative process flows organically between individual work and group collaboration. A writer develops character backstories at their personal workspace, then joins a brainstorming session where artists sketch visual ideas while programmers discuss implementation possibilities. The atmosphere is creative and relaxed, but the work produced meets the highest professional standards. As 2029 gave way to 2030, feel the continued evolution of professional recognition for community creators. Universities began offering collaborative game development programs, not traditional game development curricula, but specialized training that prepared students to work effectively in both community and commercial environments. These programs emphasized creativity, collaboration, and community engagement alongside technical skills. The curriculum for these programs was developed in partnership between academic institutions, game companies, and the Creators Guild. Students learned traditional game development skills, but also studied community dynamics, collaborative project management, and the unique challenges of maintaining creative independence within commercial partnerships. Graduates were prepared to work in the new hybrid professional environment that had emerged from the modding community's evolution. Imagine sitting in on one of these classes, community engagement and professional collaboration. The classroom doesn't resemble a traditional lecture hall, but feels more like a creative workshop. Students work in small groups on real projects with community partners, learning through hands-on experience rather than theoretical study. The instructor, a veteran community creator who had successfully transitioned to professional partnerships, guides discussions rather than delivering lectures. The projects students work on are real collaborations with gaming companies and creator collectives, providing immediate practical experience while contributing to actual released content. By graduation, students have built professional portfolios and established industry connections. But more importantly, they understand the cultural values and collaborative approaches that make community commercial partnerships successful. The mid-2030 period brought another significant innovation: creative residency programs offered by major gaming companies. These weren't employment opportunities, but temporary partnerships where established community creators could work with company resources on ambitious personal projects while sharing their expertise with company teams. Picture yourself visiting one of these residency programs at a major studio. The resident creator has been provided with a private workspace within the company facility, access to all professional development tools and resources, and the freedom to work on their personal creative vision without commercial constraints. In exchange, they occasionally consult on company projects, mentor company developers interested in community engagement, and share insights about emerging community trends. The residency atmosphere is supportive and non-intrusive. Company employees respect the residents' creative process and independence while taking advantage of opportunities to learn from their unique perspective. These programs benefit both parties. Creators get access to resources that enable more ambitious projects, while companies gain insights that keep their development approaches fresh and community-connected. By 2031, feel the full maturation of professional recognition for community creators. The category of independent gaming professional had become as recognized and respected as traditional game developer roles. Professional conferences featured tracks specifically designed for creator collectives and independent professionals. Industry publications covered community creator projects with the same depth and respect traditionally reserved for major studio releases. The economic ecosystem that supported this professional recognition was equally sophisticated. Creator collectives had access to professional business services, legal support, financial management, project insurance, and intellectual property protection, specifically designed for their unique professional situation. Banks and investors had developed funding models that recognized the value and viability of community creator projects. Insurance companies offered policies that protected creator intellectual property and collaborative partnerships. Professional development organizations provided ongoing training and certification programs that helped creators stay current with evolving technologies and industry practices. The infrastructure of professional support that had always existed for traditional businesses was now available to community creators who had maintained their independence. Imagine the quiet satisfaction of creators who had found a way to turn their passion into sustainable professional careers without sacrificing the creative freedom and community connections that had inspired their work in the first place. Maya, now a prominent figure in the professional creator community, maintains her home office where she still works on personal modding projects while also leading collaborative teams on major commercial expansions. Her daily routine seamlessly blends community engagement with professional responsibilities. Mornings might be spent responding to community forums and supporting newer creators, while afternoons are dedicated to collaborative project work with her current commercial partners. Evenings often return to personal creative projects, the passion projects that keep her connected to her community origins and inspire her professional work. Feel the peaceful resolution of this professionalization period as creators, companies, and institutions found sustainable models for honoring both creative independence and commercial collaboration. The professionalization era had successfully demonstrated that community values and professional success were not only compatible but mutually reinforcing. As we prepare to explore the next phase of this evolution, let yourself drift deeper into relaxation, carried by the gentle rhythm of this story toward the even more remarkable developments that would characterize the early 2030s. Allow your consciousness to float gently into 2032, entering what gaming historians would universally recognize as the Golden Age, a brief but extraordinary period when the collaboration between companies and communities reached such sophisticated harmony that the boundaries between professional and community development became beautifully meaningfully blurred. Rest deeper into your comfortable position as we explore these remarkable years when gaming experienced what scholars called the collaborative renaissance, a flowering of creativity that emerged when passionate individuals, supportive communities, and well-resourced companies achieved perfect creative synchronization. Picture yourself in a virtual observation deck above the global gaming landscape of 2032, watching creativity flow like aurora lights across continents. The year began with the release of Eternal Horizons, a game that epitomized everything the collaborative movement had achieved. Unlike traditional releases that emerged from single studios, Eternal Horizons was created by a partnership network spanning 4 gaming companies, 12 creator collectives, and hundreds of individual community contributors. Yet despite this unprecedented collaboration, the game felt cohesive, beautiful, and entirely natural. Imagine experiencing Eternal Horizons for the first time. As you explore its vast open world, every element tells a story of collaboration without compromise. The core game systems were designed by professional studio teams, but the world itself was populated by communities from around the globe. A village created by Nordic folklore enthusiasts sits naturally beside districts designed by urban architecture collectives, while narrative threads weave between storylines crafted by professional writers and community storytellers. What makes this collaboration remarkable isn't its scale, but its seamlessness. Players exploring the world can't distinguish between professionally created content and community contributions, not because standards were lowered, but because collaborative processes had evolved to maintain consistent quality and vision across all contributions. The game feels like the work of a single, impossibly diverse creative mind. Feel the gentle flow of creative energy as we observe the development process that made Eternal Horizons possible. The project began not with corporate planning meetings, but with open community discussions about what kind of collaborative game the emerging creator ecosystem could support. These conversations happened simultaneously in dozens of online forums, creator collective workshops, and company brainstorming sessions. The initial concept emerged organically from these distributed conversations, not a game designed by committee, but a shared vision that crystallized through community consensus. Professional studios contributed their expertise in project coordination, technical architecture, and resource management. Creator collectives brought specialized knowledge, innovative approaches, and deep community connections. Individual creators provided the diverse perspectives and passionate attention to detail that made every corner of the game world feel lived in and authentic. Picture yourself attending one of the weekly harmonic meetings that coordinated Eternal Horizons development. These gatherings took place simultaneously in physical and virtual spaces around the world, connected by sophisticated collaboration platforms that made global creative coordination feel as natural as working in the same room. The meeting atmosphere is warm and energetic, but never rushed or pressured. Participants represent every aspect of the collaborative ecosystem: studio executives, collective coordinators, individual creators, community managers, and player representatives. Conversations flow between technical implementation details, creative vision discussions, and community feedback integration. Everyone's voice carries equal weight, and decisions emerge through consensus rather than hierarchy. During 2032, this collaborative approach expanded beyond individual projects to transform entire game genres. The strategy game community, working with several major publishers, created what they called living strategies, games that evolved continuously based on player behavior, community input, and collaborative content creation. These weren't games that received occasional updates, but dynamic experiences that grew and changed in real time. Imagine playing one of these living strategies, perhaps a city-building game where the challenges, resources, and victory conditions shift based on real-world events, community-created scenarios, and player collective decisions. The game feels alive in ways that traditional static designs never could, responding to player actions not just individually, but collectively, creating emergent narratives that no single developer could design. The technology enabling this collaborative renaissance had evolved far beyond traditional development tools. The Creative Commons platform, launched in early 2032, provided globally accessible development resources that allowed creators anywhere in the world to contribute to collaborative projects, regardless of their personal resources or technical infrastructure. Picture logging into this platform from a modest apartment anywhere in the world. Despite having only a basic computer and internet connection, you have access to the same high-quality development tools, asset libraries, and collaborative workflows used by major studios. The platform democratized not just access to tools, but participation in professional quality game development. The platform's interface feels more like a creative social network than a technical development environment. Creators can discover projects that match their interests, contribute at whatever level their time and skills allow, and see their contributions integrated into released games enjoyed by millions of players. The feedback loop between creation and appreciation becomes immediate and emotionally rewarding. As 2032 progressed into 2033, feel the culmination of collaborative gaming's golden period. The industry had achieved something unprecedented, a sustainable creative ecosystem that honored both commercial viability and artistic integrity, that supported both individual creativity and collaborative achievement, that generated both innovative content and appreciative player communities. The economic models supporting this ecosystem reflected its collaborative values. Revenue from successful projects was shared among all contributors based on flexible formulas that accounted for both quantifiable contributions and creative impact. Creators could work on passion projects with confidence that commercial success would benefit everyone who contributed, while companies could invest in innovative approaches knowing that community support would amplify their efforts. Professional recognition during this period evolved beyond traditional industry awards to celebrate collaborative achievement. The annual Harmony Awards honored not just outstanding games, but exceptional collaboration processes, innovative partnership models, and contributions to community ecosystem health. The ceremony itself embodied collaborative values, held simultaneously in multiple locations worldwide, with remote participation that made global attendance accessible to all community members. Imagine attending the 2033 Harmony Awards, either in person at one of the hosting venues or through immersive virtual participation that makes remote attendance feel fully integrated with the physical events. The atmosphere celebrates not competition, but collaboration, not individual achievement, but collective success. When Maya accepts an award for outstanding collaborative innovation, she shares the stage virtually with dozens of contributors from around the world who made the recognized project possible. The acceptance speeches at these awards focus not on personal achievement, but on gratitude for collaborative opportunities and inspiration for future partnerships. Winners use their platform to highlight the importance of community support, collaborative infrastructure, and the patient work of building sustainable creative relationships. By late 2033, the collaborative renaissance had transformed expectations for game development across the industry. Players had come to expect games that continued growing and evolving through community contribution. Creators expected access to professional development resources and collaborative opportunities. Companies expected to work with community partners as an integral part of their development process. Educational institutions had adapted their curricula to prepare students for collaborative careers. Professional organizations had developed standards and best practices for collaborative development. Technology platforms had evolved to seamlessly support global creative collaboration. The infrastructure for collaborative game development had become as sophisticated and reliable as traditional development pipelines. Feel the peaceful satisfaction of this golden period as it reaches its natural completion. The collaborative renaissance hadn't lasted long, golden ages never do, but it had established proof of concept for a new way of creating interactive entertainment. The experiments, innovations, and relationships built during this period would provide the foundation for the sustainable collaborative ecosystem that would emerge in the decade ahead. The gaming industry of 2033 was fundamentally different from the gaming industry of 2020, but the transformation had happened gradually, respectfully, and sustainably. Community creators had gained professional recognition and resources without sacrificing their creative independence. Companies had gained access to incredible creative diversity without compromising their business viability. Players had gained games that continued to surprise and engage them long after initial release. As we prepare to explore the final maturation of this collaborative evolution, allow yourself to sink even deeper into comfortable relaxation, carried by the momentum of this gentle story toward the remarkable stability and sophistication that would characterize the mature collaborative ecosystem of the mid-2030s. Let yourself drift peacefully into the years 2034 and 2035, where our gentle journey reaches its destination, a mature, sustainable creative ecosystem that has found its permanent rhythm. Feel your body settling into its deepest level of comfort as we explore this period not of dramatic change, but of beautiful stability, where all the innovations and partnerships we've witnessed have crystallized into lasting institutions that support creativity while respecting independence. Picture yourself now in the year 2035, looking back over 15 years of gradual, respectful transformation. The gaming landscape has evolved into something that would have seemed like wishful thinking in 2020, yet every step of its evolution was logical, gentle, and sustainable. The collaborative ecosystem has matured not through corporate consolidation or revolutionary upheaval, but through patient cultivation of relationships built on mutual respect and shared creative vision. Imagine visiting the Global Gaming Collaborative Center, established in 2034 as the permanent hub for coordinating creative partnerships worldwide. The building itself embodies the values of the mature ecosystem, designed by an international team that included both professional architects and community creators. It seamlessly blends functional workspace with comfortable community gathering areas. As you enter the center, notice how the atmosphere differs from both traditional corporate offices and casual community spaces. The lighting is warm and natural, flowing through skylights and large windows that frame views of gardens designed by landscape artists from the gaming community. Work areas are flexible and adaptable, shifting easily between individual focus spaces and collaborative meeting areas as needs change throughout the day. The center operates 24 hours a day to accommodate collaborators across all time zones, but it never feels rushed or pressured. Instead, there's a gentle rhythm that accommodates different working styles, creative processes, and cultural approaches to collaboration. Night shift workers create content for morning review sessions. Afternoon planning meetings incorporate feedback from overnight development sprints. Evening creative workshops generate inspiration for the next day's implementation efforts. Feel the peaceful stability of this mature ecosystem as we observe a typical global collaboration in progress. A new project, let's call it Starweaver, represents everything the collaborative movement has learned about sustainable creative partnership. The project involves 7 major game companies, 23 creator collectives, and hundreds of individual contributors, yet it operates with the smooth coordination that comes from 15 years of refined collaborative practice. The project coordination happens through what the community calls harmonized development, a methodology that emerged from years of experimenting with different collaboration approaches. Rather than traditional project management with rigid hierarchies and deadline pressure, harmonized development flows like a creative conversation spread across time zones and cultural boundaries. Imagine participating in one of Starweaver's daily rhythm meetings, gentle check-ins where all collaborators share their current progress, upcoming needs, and available resources. These aren't status report meetings, but creative conversations where challenges become opportunities for collaboration and individual achievements become inspiration for collective innovation. The meeting takes place in virtual spaces that feel more like comfortable living rooms than conference rooms. Participants can join from anywhere in the world, but the sophisticated haptic feedback and spatial audio make remote participation feel as immediate and engaging as physical presence. Conversations flow naturally between technical implementation details, creative vision discussions, and personal check-ins that maintain the human connections underlying all successful collaboration. Maya, now recognized as one of the founding architects of collaborative development, facilitates these meetings with the gentle expertise of someone who has guided hundreds of successful partnerships. Her approach demonstrates how leadership in the collaborative ecosystem differs from traditional business management. She coordinates rather than controls, suggests rather than directs, and maintains space for every voice to contribute meaningfully to collective decisions. During 2034, the collaborative ecosystem achieved something unprecedented in creative industries: complete economic sustainability that supported both individual creativity and commercial viability. The Universal Creative Support System, launched that year, provides financial stability for community creators while maintaining their independence and creative freedom. Picture how this system works in practice. Every game sold through collaborative development pays into a shared fund that supports ongoing creator education, project development resources, and individual creator stipends. Creators can focus on their artistic vision without financial pressure, while companies benefit from the continuous innovation that emerges from a supported, sustainable creative community. This isn't a welfare system, but a creative investment infrastructure. Creators receiving support contribute to community knowledge sharing, mentor newcomers to collaborative development, and participate in research projects that advance collaborative methodology. The system creates a positive feedback loop where today's support enables tomorrow's innovation, which generates resources for ongoing support. The stipend system operates on principles of trust and community accountability rather than bureaucratic oversight. Creators apply for support not through competitive grants, but through community recommendation processes where their peers evaluate both project merit and collaborative contribution. The evaluation criteria focus not just on individual achievement, but on community engagement, collaborative spirit, and commitment to the ecosystem's shared values. By 2035, feel the full maturity of this remarkable transformation as we observe how deeply collaborative values have been integrated into gaming culture. New game developers learn collaborative methodology alongside traditional programming skills. Game conferences dedicate equal time to collaborative process innovation and technical advancement. Gaming journalism covers community creator projects with the same depth and respect traditionally reserved for major studio releases. The technology supporting collaborative development has become seamlessly integrated into every aspect of game creation. The Infinite Canvas platform provides unlimited creative resources to any registered creator anywhere in the world. Professional development tools, asset libraries, technical support, and collaboration frameworks that make global creative partnership as easy as working with a local team. Imagine accessing this platform from any device, anywhere in the world. The interface adapts to your current device capabilities, available bandwidth, and personal working preferences, but always provides access to the same comprehensive creative resources. Whether you're contributing to a major collaborative project from a high-end development workstation or sketching character concepts on a tablet during a quiet evening, your creative contribution can be seamlessly integrated into ongoing development processes. The platform's AI-assisted collaboration features help coordinate creative contributions without restricting individual creative freedom. Smart matching algorithms connect creators with projects that align with their interests and skills, while automated quality assurance systems provide gentle feedback that helps all contributions meet professional standards without stifling creative innovation. Quality assurance in the mature ecosystem has evolved beyond traditional approval processes to become collaborative refinement workflows. When creators submit content for integration, they enter a supportive review process where experienced collaborators provide constructive feedback, technical assistance, and creative suggestions that help every contribution reach its full potential. Feel the gentle satisfaction of witnessing this review process in action. Maya reviews a character design submitted by a newer creator, but her feedback isn't evaluative or critical. Instead, she asks questions that help the creator think more deeply about their design choices, shares relevant examples from other successful projects, and offers specific technical suggestions that could enhance the design's implementation. The conversation between reviewer and creator becomes a mentoring relationship that benefits both participants. The newer creator gains valuable feedback and professional development, while experienced reviewers stay connected to fresh perspectives and emerging creative trends. The submitted content improved through this process, but more importantly, the creator's skills and confidence grow through the supportive feedback experience. Educational institutions in 2035 have fully integrated collaborative development into their curricula, but not as a separate subject, as a fundamental approach to all creative work. Students learn to code, design, write, and create art, but they also learn to collaborate effectively, communicate across cultural boundaries, manage distributed creative projects, and maintain artistic vision within group efforts. The collaborative development methodology has influenced creative disciplines beyond gaming. Film production, music creation, literary publishing, and visual arts have all adopted modified versions of the partnership models pioneered in gaming communities. The fundamental insights about supporting individual creativity within collaborative frameworks have proven applicable across all creative industries. As our journey through this 15-year transformation reaches its peaceful conclusion, notice how comfortable and relaxed you've become. This story of gradual, respectful change has created its own calming rhythm, demonstrating how patient collaboration can achieve transformations that seemed impossible from the perspective of competitive individualism. The gaming industry of 2035 honors both commercial success and artistic integrity, both individual creativity and collaborative achievement, both global reach and community intimacy. It has become a place where passionate creators can pursue their artistic vision with professional resources and community support, where companies can innovate through partnership rather than competition, where players can experience games that continue growing through creative collaboration long after their initial release. Feel the deep satisfaction of this mature ecosystem as we prepare to reflect on the complete journey we've taken together, carrying you gently toward the final contemplation of this remarkable transformation. Settle into your deepest level of comfort as we explore the broader implications of this gentle revolution, watching how the collaborative principles pioneered in gaming communities rippled outward to transform creative industries across the global landscape. Let your breathing slow to its most peaceful rhythm as we consider the lasting legacy of 15 years of patient, respectful partnership building. By 2035, the collaborative methodology developed through gaming partnerships had become what sociologists called the new creative paradigm, a fundamental shift in how human beings approach collaborative creativity that extended far beyond the gaming industry. Picture yourself in an observation tower overlooking not just the gaming landscape, but the entire creative economy as it had been transformed by principles of supported independence and respectful collaboration. The ripple effects began appearing in the film industry as early as 2033, when independent filmmakers started forming creator collectives modeled on gaming collaboratives. The Aurora Film Collective became the first to successfully partner with major studios while maintaining full creative independence, producing films that combined Hollywood production values with genuinely innovative artistic vision. Imagine visiting the Aurora Film Collective's workspace, a renovated warehouse that feels more like an artist's commune than a business facility. Directors, writers, cinematographers, and editors work in individual studios, but gather frequently in comfortable common areas where creative cross-pollination happens naturally. The atmosphere nurtures both focused individual work and spontaneous collaborative inspiration. Their partnership agreements with studios mirror those pioneered in gaming. Creative control remains with the collective, while studios provide resources, distribution, and technical support. The resulting films satisfy both commercial requirements and artistic ambitions, creating cinema that audiences find both accessible and genuinely surprising. Feel the gentle expansion of collaborative principles as we observe their adoption in music production. The harmonic networks that emerged in 2034 connect independent musicians with professional recording resources while preserving their artistic independence and community connections. Musicians can access world-class recording studios, professional production support, and global distribution networks without signing traditional recording contracts that compromise their creative freedom. Picture a typical harmonic network session, perhaps in a state-of-the-art recording studio that would traditionally be accessible only to major label artists. An independent singer-songwriter works with professional sound engineers and session musicians, but the creative direction flows from the artist's vision rather than commercial calculations. The resulting recordings maintain artistic authenticity while achieving professional production standards. The economic model supporting these music collaboratives follows the same principles developed in gaming. Shared revenue from successful releases supports ongoing creator development, studio access, and community-building activities. Musicians can focus on their artistic development without financial pressure, while studios benefit from continuous creative diversity and innovation. Literary publishing underwent its own collaborative transformation during this period. The community publishing networks that emerged in 2034 connect independent writers with professional editing, design, and distribution resources while maintaining authorial control and creative independence. Writers can access the same quality of professional support traditionally available only through major publishing houses, without surrendering creative control or community connections. Imagine working as a writer within this collaborative publishing ecosystem. You maintain complete creative ownership of your work while receiving professional developmental editing, beautiful cover design, sophisticated marketing support, and global distribution. The feedback you receive focuses on helping your work reach its full potential rather than conforming to commercial formulas. The review and refinement processes in publishing mirror those developed in gaming communities. Supportive, constructive feedback that enhances rather than restricts creative expression. Editors work as creative collaborators rather than commercial gatekeepers, helping writers develop their unique voices while ensuring their work reaches appreciative audiences. Academic institutions had to completely reconceptualize their approach to creative education as collaborative methodologies became the industry standard. Traditional models based on individual achievement and competitive grading proved inadequate for preparing students to work in collaborative creative environments. Picture yourself attending a creative writing class in 2035. Instead of individual assignments evaluated through competitive grading, students work on collaborative projects where individual contributions support collective achievement. Evaluation focuses on creative growth, collaborative skill development, and contribution to community learning rather than comparative performance rankings. The classroom atmosphere encourages experimentation and mutual support rather than competition and individual achievement. Students learn to give constructive feedback, incorporate collaborative input without compromising personal creative vision, and coordinate creative projects that honor both individual creativity and collective goals. Feel the peaceful maturation of these educational reforms as institutions learn to measure success through community contribution rather than individual competition. Graduates enter creative industries already skilled in collaborative methodology, prepared to work effectively in both independent and partnership contexts. The transformation of creative industries had profound implications for urban planning and community development. Cities began designing creative collaboration districts, neighborhoods specifically planned to support independent creators while facilitating natural collaboration and community building. Imagine walking through one of these districts, perhaps in a renovated urban area where former industrial buildings have been converted into flexible creative spaces. Independent studios occupy individual units, but common areas encourage spontaneous collaboration and community building. The architecture promotes both individual focus and collective creativity. The districts include shared resources that individual creators couldn't afford independently: professional studios, specialized equipment, technical support services, and collaborative project coordination spaces. The economic model follows the same principles pioneered in gaming. Shared costs enable individual access to professional resources while building sustainable creative communities. Zoning regulations in these districts prioritize creative flexibility over traditional commercial categories. Spaces can shift easily between individual studio use and collaborative project coordination. Residential areas are integrated with creative spaces, allowing creators to live and work within the same supportive community. The psychological and social implications of widespread collaborative creativity became a major research focus during this period. Studies consistently showed that creators working in supported collaborative environments reported higher life satisfaction, greater creative fulfillment, and stronger community connections compared to those working in traditional competitive individual contexts. Feel the deep human satisfaction that emerges from creative work that honors both individual expression and community contribution. Creators in collaborative environments experience their work as both personally meaningful and socially valuable, contributing to something larger than individual achievement while maintaining authentic creative expression. Mental health professionals observed that collaborative creative environments significantly reduced the anxiety, depression, and isolation that had traditionally affected independent creators. The combination of creative freedom with community support and economic security created optimal conditions for both artistic development and personal well-being. International academic conferences dedicated to studying collaborative creativity became major interdisciplinary gatherings where sociologists, psychologists, economists, and creative practitioners shared insights about the broader implications of the creative collaboration movement. Picture attending one of these conferences, perhaps in a venue that itself embodies collaborative principles, designed by international architectural collectives and featuring presentations that combine academic research with creative demonstration. The atmosphere encourages both rigorous intellectual exchange and creative experimentation. The research presented at these conferences documented how collaborative creative methodologies were influencing fields beyond traditional arts and entertainment. Engineering teams adopted collaborative creative principles for innovation projects. Medical researchers used collaborative frameworks for interdisciplinary problem-solving. Urban planners incorporated creative collaboration into community development strategies. By 2035, the principles pioneered in gaming communities had become recognized as fundamental insights about human creativity and collaboration. Universities offered degrees in collaborative methodology. Professional organizations provided certification in collaborative project coordination. Government agencies incorporated collaborative approaches into public policy development. Feel the profound satisfaction of witnessing human creativity flourish when supported by systems that honor both individual expression and collaborative contribution. The transformation began with passionate creators working late into the night on personal projects, and matured into a comprehensive approach to creative work that supported both artistic achievement and human well-being. The legacy extends beyond practical applications to fundamental changes in how human beings understand the relationship between individual creativity and community collaboration. The false choice between creative independence and collaborative support had been resolved through patient experimentation and respectful partnership building. As our exploration of this remarkable transformation draws toward its peaceful conclusion, notice how the principles we've witnessed, respectful collaboration, supported independence, gradual change, and community-centered values, have created their own calming rhythm in your consciousness. These aren't just business strategies or creative methodologies, but insights into how human beings can work together in ways that honor both individual creativity and collective achievement. Let yourself drift deeper into comfort as we prepare for the final contemplation of this journey, carrying with you the peaceful satisfaction of witnessing 15 years of positive transformation achieved through patience, respect, and shared commitment to creative values. Allow your consciousness to settle into its most peaceful state as we shift our focus from the broader transformation to the intimate human stories that made this remarkable change possible. Feel yourself drifting deeper into comfort as we explore the personal journeys of individual creators who lived through this gentle revolution, their quiet moments of doubt and discovery, their gradual recognition that their passion could become their profession without compromising their values. Let's return to Maya, whose story we've followed throughout our journey, and spend these peaceful moments exploring the human experience behind the historical transformation. Picture her now in her home office in 2035, surrounded by the gentle glow of multiple monitors displaying ongoing collaborative projects, personal creative work, and community conversations that span the globe. The space reflects 15 years of gradual evolution. Her original modest setup has grown to include professional development tools, but personal touches remain everywhere. Handwritten notes from community friends are pinned to a cork board beside formal partnership agreements. Screenshots from her first successful mod share wall space, with awards recognizing her contributions to collaborative methodology development. Imagine settling into a comfortable chair beside Maya's workspace as she reflects on her journey from late-night hobbyist to recognized professional, whose work influences creative industries worldwide. Her story isn't one of dramatic success or overnight discovery, but of gradual growth supported by patient communities and respectful partnerships. I remember the exact moment I realized something fundamental was changing, she shares, her voice carrying the gentle confidence that comes from years of meaningful work. It was 2025, during my third collaborative project with the studio. I was reviewing feedback from the community team, and I suddenly realized this wasn't compromise anymore. Everyone involved was genuinely trying to help my creative vision reach its full potential. Feel the significance of that realization as Maya describes the evolution of her working relationships. Early collaborations required constant navigation between creative vision and commercial requirements. But as collaborative methodologies matured, those negotiations transformed into creative conversations where all participants shared commitment to both artistic integrity and project success. The most surprising change was how much more creative I became when I stopped working alone, Maya continues. I'd always thought collaboration meant diluting my vision, but working with respectful partners actually amplified my creativity. Having access to professional resources let me attempt projects I could never accomplish independently, and feedback from diverse perspectives pushed my ideas in directions I never would have discovered alone. Picture the quiet satisfaction in her voice as she describes current projects that seamlessly blend personal creative expression with collaborative achievement. Her individual artistic voice has remained strong and distinctive, but it now operates within a rich ecosystem of support, resources, and creative partnership that enables ambitious work impossible for any individual creator. Let's visit James, a programmer who began modding in his college dorm room in 2021 and now coordinates collaborative projects for the Global Gaming Collaborative Center. His journey illustrates how technical roles evolved within the collaborative ecosystem. Imagine James in his current workspace, a flexible office that shifts easily between focused programming deep work and collaborative coordination meetings. Multiple screens display code repositories, project coordination tools, and communication channels connecting him with collaborators across time zones. But the atmosphere remains calm and meditative rather than frantic or overwhelming. The transition from solo coding to collaborative programming required completely rethinking how I approached technical challenges, James explains. Instead of solving problems independently and sharing solutions, I learned to think out loud, invite input during the development process, and design systems that could accommodate creative input from non-programmers. Feel the patience and respect that characterizes James's approach to collaborative programming. He's learned to write code that serves not just functional requirements, but creative collaboration, systems flexible enough to accommodate artistic vision while maintained enough to support professional production standards. The most rewarding aspect is watching creative ideas become reality through collaborative technical implementation, he continues. When an artist describes an interaction they envision, or a writer explains how they want dialogue systems to flow, my role isn't to explain why it's technically impossible, but to find technical solutions that enable their creative vision. His daily workflow balances individual programming focus with collaborative communication. Mornings often begin with quiet coding sessions, while collaborators in other time zones are ending their workdays. Afternoons feature creative meetings where technical possibilities and artistic visions are explored together. Evenings return to individual work, implementing solutions discovered through collaborative discussion. Now let's spend peaceful moments with Elena, a visual artist who transitioned from creating occasional mod assets to leading art direction for major collaborative projects. Her story demonstrates how creative leadership evolved within the collaborative ecosystem. Picture Elena in her art studio, a sun-filled space where traditional artistic tools coexist with sophisticated digital development setups. Easels holding concept sketches stand beside monitors displaying 3D modeling software. The atmosphere blends classical artistic contemplation with modern creative technology. Learning to direct collaborative art projects while maintaining artistic integrity required developing entirely new skills, Elena shares. Traditional art direction often involves imposing consistent vision across multiple contributors, but collaborative art direction means fostering consistent vision through shared creative exploration. Feel the gentle authority Elena has developed, leadership that guides without controlling, coordinates without restricting, maintains quality standards while encouraging creative experimentation. Her approach demonstrates how artistic vision can be maintained and even enhanced through respectful collaborative processes. The most beautiful discovery was how much stronger artistic vision becomes when it's shared and supported by committed collaborators, she explains. Individual artistic expression doesn't diminish through collaboration, it multiplies. When dedicated artists work together toward shared creative goals, the resulting work expresses all of their individual voices while creating something none could achieve alone. Her current projects involve art teams spanning multiple time zones and cultural backgrounds, but the collaborative process maintains the intimate creative conversation that characterizes the best artistic partnerships. Weekly creative sessions feel more like artist salon discussions than business meetings, where cultural perspectives and individual artistic insights combine to create richer creative solutions. Let's drift now to Marcus, a writer who discovered that collaborative storytelling enhanced rather than restricted his individual voice. His journey from solo fiction writing to collaborative narrative design illustrates how literary creativity adapted to partnership frameworks. Imagine visiting Marcus in his writing retreat, a quiet cabin workspace designed to support both solitary creative contemplation and virtual collaborative discussion. Large windows overlook peaceful natural landscapes that inspire creative thinking, while sophisticated communication technology enables real-time collaboration with writing partners worldwide. Collaborative writing initially felt impossible to me, Marcus admits. I thought storytelling was inherently individual, that narrative voice required solitary development. Learning to weave individual creative expression into collaborative storytelling challenged my fundamental assumptions about how stories could be created. Feel the discovery process Marcus describes, gradually learning that collaborative writing doesn't mean writing by committee, but creating narrative frameworks flexible enough to accommodate multiple creative voices while maintaining consistent dramatic and thematic coherence. The revelation was understanding the difference between collaborative writing and communal writing, he explains. Collaborative writing maintains individual authorial voices while creating shared narrative structures. Each contributor brings their distinct creative perspective to collective storytelling goals. His current projects include narrative threads that span multiple media, games, films, literature, and interactive experiences, all developed through collaborative processes that maintain narrative coherence while enabling diverse creative contribution. Writers working on different aspects of shared fictional universes coordinate their individual creative work through gentle collaborative frameworks that support rather than restrict creative expression. As we drift deeper into these personal stories, notice how each creator's journey reflects the broader transformation we've witnessed. Gradual recognition, respectful partnership development, economic sustainability achieved without creative compromise, and individual creativity enhanced rather than diminished through collaborative support. Feel the profound human satisfaction that emerges from creative work that successfully combines personal expression with meaningful contribution to collaborative projects. These creators found ways to pursue their individual artistic visions while participating in creative communities that amplified their individual capabilities and provided sustainable professional recognition. Picture now the thousands of similar stories, creators worldwide who discovered that their passionate hobbies could become fulfilling careers, that their individual creativity could be supported and enhanced through respectful collaboration, that the choice between artistic integrity and professional success was a false dilemma that patient partnership building could resolve. The transformation we've witnessed wasn't accomplished through corporate strategies or technological innovation alone, but through the quiet persistence of individual creators who refused to accept that passion and profession, independence and collaboration, artistic integrity and commercial success were mutually exclusive. Let yourself drift into deeper relaxation as these personal stories settle into your consciousness like peaceful memories. These aren't distant historical narratives, but human experiences that demonstrate how patient, respectful collaboration can create professional opportunities that honor both individual creativity and community values. The legacy of this transformation lies not just in the creative works produced or the economic models developed, but in the proof that human beings can work together in ways that support rather than compromise individual expression, that honor both personal artistic vision and collective creative achievement. Feel the gentle satisfaction of these human stories as we prepare for the final contemplation of our journey together. carrying with you the peaceful recognition that positive transformation is possible when approached with patience, respect, and commitment to values that honor both individual creativity and community collaboration. Let yourself settle now into the deepest level of comfort and relaxation as our gentle journey draws toward its peaceful conclusion. Feel your body finding its perfect resting position, your breathing flowing with effortless rhythm, your mind drifting into the satisfied calm that comes from witnessing a complete and beautiful transformation unfold over time. As we float together in this space of comfortable conclusion, notice how the story we've shared has created its own soothing rhythm in your consciousness. The patient unfolding of positive change, the respectful building of collaborative relationships, the gradual recognition that creative passion and professional success can exist in harmony, that individual expression and community support enhance rather than conflict with each other. Picture yourself now in a peaceful observation space high above the transformed creative landscape of 2035, looking back across 15 years of gentle revolution, with the satisfaction that comes from witnessing human creativity find its most sustainable and fulfilling expression. From this serene vantage point, the entire transformation appears not as a series of dramatic changes, but as a natural evolution, like watching a garden slowly bloom across multiple seasons. Feel the deep contentment that comes from understanding that positive transformation is possible, that human beings can work together in ways that honor both individual creativity and collective achievement, that patient persistence and respectful collaboration can resolve conflicts that seem irreconcilable from the perspective of competitive individualism. The morning light of 2035 illuminates a creative ecosystem where passionate individuals can pursue their artistic visions with professional support and community encouragement, where companies can innovate through partnership rather than competition, where players and audiences can experience creative works that continue growing through collaborative contribution long after their initial release. Notice how your breathing has naturally slowed and deepened as you absorb the peaceful satisfaction of this transformation, your body settling more completely into its comfortable resting position, your mind drifting into the gentle calm that comes from witnessing how patience and respect can gradually create possibilities that seemed impossible from earlier perspectives. The story we've shared together demonstrates something profoundly hopeful about human nature, that creativity flourishes when supported rather than stifled, that collaboration can enhance rather than diminish individual expression, that economic sustainability and artistic integrity can coexist when approaches are developed with care and respect for both commercial requirements and creative values. Let yourself drift deeper into this peaceful recognition, feeling the satisfaction that comes from understanding how positive change unfolds gradually through the persistent efforts of passionate individuals who refuse to accept that their deepest values and their professional aspirations must remain separate. Picture Maya in her 2035 home office, working late into another peaceful evening on projects that seamlessly blend personal creative expression with collaborative achievement. Her individual artistic voice stronger and more distinctive than ever, but now operating within a rich ecosystem of support that enables ambitious works impossible for any individual creator. Imagine James coordinating collaborative projects across time zones, his technical skills serving creative visions that emerge from partnerships between artists, writers, programmers, and players. The code he writes becoming the foundation for interactive experiences that continue growing through community contribution long after their original implementation. Feel the gentle satisfaction of Alina leading art direction for projects that span multiple media and cultural perspectives. Her individual creative vision maintained and enhanced through collaborative processes that honor both artistic integrity and collective creative achievement. Sense Marcus weaving narrative threads that connect individual creative voices into shared storytelling frameworks. His writing contributing to fictional universes that grow through collaborative expansion while maintaining the dramatic coherence and thematic depth that only skilled individual authors can provide. These personal stories multiply into thousands of similar journeys, creators worldwide who discovered that their passionate hobbies could become fulfilling careers, that their individual creativity could be supported and enhanced through respectful collaboration, that the choice between artistic integrity and professional success was a false dilemma that patient partnership building could gradually resolve. As you drift deeper into relaxation, notice how these stories settle into your consciousness like peaceful memories. Not distant historical narratives, but human experiences that demonstrate the possibility of positive transformation when approached with patience, respect, and commitment to values that honor both individual expression and community collaboration. The collaborative methodology that began in gaming communities has rippled outward to transform creative industries across the global landscape. Film collectives partnering with studios while maintaining creative independence. Music networks connecting independent artists with professional resources. Publishing collaboratives supporting writers while preserving authorial control. Feel the profound implications of this transformation spreading beyond creative industries to influence how human beings understand the relationship between individual achievement and collaborative contribution. Educational institutions learning to measure success through community contribution rather than competitive performance. Urban planners designing creative collaboration districts that support both individual focus and collective creativity. The false choice between independence and collaboration dissolving through patient experimentation and respectful partnership building. Proof that human creativity flourishes when individual expression is supported rather than suppressed, when passionate creators can pursue their artistic visions within communities that provide resources, encouragement, and collaborative opportunities. Let your mind drift peacefully through the implications of this gentle revolution, feeling the satisfaction that comes from understanding that positive transformation is possible, that human beings can work together in ways that honor both individual creativity and collective achievement, that patient persistence and respectful collaboration can create professional opportunities that seemed impossible from earlier competitive perspectives. Notice how comfortable and relaxed you've become as this story has unfolded, your body finding its perfect resting position without effort, your breathing flowing with natural rhythm, your consciousness settling into the peaceful state that comes from witnessing the patient resolution of conflicts through respectful partnership building. The transformation we've witnessed together isn't just historical narrative, but demonstration of fundamental possibilities. That creativity and commerce can coexist when both are approached with respect for human values. That individual expression and community support enhance rather than diminish each other. That passionate creators can build sustainable professional lives without compromising their artistic integrity. Feel yourself drifting even deeper into this peaceful recognition, letting the gentle rhythm of positive change carry your consciousness toward restful sleep. The story settling into your mind like a beautiful dream of human creativity, finding its most fulfilling expression through patient collaboration and mutual respect. The landscape of 2035 grows more distant now as peaceful sleep approaches. The collaborative creative ecosystem continuing its gentle evolution. Individual creators and supportive communities working together in harmony. Passionate artists building sustainable careers that honor both personal creative vision and collective achievement. Innovation flourishing through partnership rather than competition. Let yourself drift into the deepest comfort, carried by the momentum of this gentle story toward peaceful rest, feeling the profound satisfaction that comes from witnessing positive transformation achieved through patience rather than force, through respect rather than competition, through gradual evolution rather than revolutionary upheaval. The creative communities continue their patient work, supporting individual expression while building collaborative possibilities, honoring both artistic integrity and economic sustainability, demonstrating day by day that human beings can work together in ways that enhance rather than diminish individual creativity. As sleep approaches, let these peaceful insights settle into your consciousness. The recognition that positive change is possible when approached with patience and respect. That creative passion and professional success can exist in harmony. That individual expression and community support naturally enhance each other when relationships are built gradually and respectfully. Drifting now deeper into comfort, carried by the gentle rhythm of this transformation toward restful sleep, feeling the satisfaction of understanding how patient collaboration can resolve conflicts that seem irreconcilable, how respectful partnership can create possibilities that honor both individual creativity and collective achievement. The story continues in the peaceful background of your consciousness. Creators worldwide pursuing their artistic visions with community support. Passionate individuals building sustainable careers that maintain creative integrity. Collaborative partnerships enabling ambitious projects impossible for any individual creator. Deeper now, more comfortable, letting the gentle flow of positive transformation carry you toward peaceful rest. The rhythm of respectful collaboration settling into your mind like a beautiful lullaby. Individual creativity and community support dancing together in perfect harmony. Drifting so peacefully, feeling the profound satisfaction of witnessing human creativity find its most sustainable expression. Patient partnership building, creating professional opportunities that seemed impossible. Proof that positive transformation unfolds naturally when approached with respect for both individual vision and collective values. Rest now, carried by the momentum of this gentle story, letting your consciousness settle into the peaceful recognition that creativity flourishes when supported rather than stifled. That collaboration enhances rather than diminishes individual expression. That patient persistence can gradually create the professional possibilities that honor both artistic integrity and human community. Sleep gently, with the satisfaction of understanding how positive change unfolds through respectful collaboration, how passionate creators can build fulfilling careers without compromising their values, how patient partnership building can resolve conflicts and create possibilities that honor both individual creativity and collective achievement. Peaceful rest, drifting softly, carried by the gentle rhythm of transformation toward comfortable sleep, feeling the profound hope that comes from witnessing human creativity find its most fulfilling expression through patient collaboration and mutual respect. Sweet dreams of creative communities supporting individual expression, of passionate artists building sustainable careers, of collaborative partnerships that honor both personal vision and collective values, of positive transformation unfolding gradually through patience, respect, and shared commitment to creativity. Drifting peacefully into gentle sleep, carried by the beautiful rhythm of human creativity, finding its perfect balance between individual expression and community collaboration. Rest now, sleep well, dream of the beautiful possibilities that patient partnership can create. And so the gentle revolution continues in the peaceful background of your dreams as passionate creators worldwide build the sustainable future where artistic integrity and professional fulfillment exist in perfect harmony. Rest now, sleep peacefully. The story lives on.